Well, is it? Yes. Good morning, beloveds. Okay. All right. Anyway, allergies have kicked in to a degree, and the cat agrees because she has not stopped wheezing yet, which worries me. I'm worried that we need to take her because she's already taken an antiviral. I'm worried that we need to take her to get a antibiotic. All right. Sugar, you've seen her. She's a little white and tan cat that I have. All right. I don't know why I'm putting these on. You are here for Living the Science of Mind, but first, let's do the housekeeping. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center. The website is creativelife.org. The constant contact is email info@creativelife.org. That will get you one email a week, unless something unusual happens. It's a blind CC. Nobody's going to see your email. Nobody will get your email. It's one email a week. I think I already said that. It tells you what's going on for the week and the month, and the hot links are hot. So it's a good email. It's a real person doing the email. Trust me. He doesn't have time for more than one a week. All right. I think that's that. So social media, simply because we do not monetize the social media. What we ask you to do is to go like, subscribe, share, follow, comment. In other words, engage with the pages. When you engage with the pages, it bumps us in the algorithms. More people see our stuff. We'd appreciate it. Thank you. All right. And we are Creative Life Spiritual Center or Creative Life Spark, depending on which social media you are on. And I'm the running Reverend on all of the social medias that I'm on. So there we go. All right. Can I talk any faster? Yes. Yes, I can. But let's not do that. Okay. We got a decently long article, so I want to kind of get into it and get through it. Because I'm trying to do these in one sitting. And our title is a mouthful. The Science of Religion and a Religion of Science. Okay, let me remind you, these came out of Ernest's at-home course that was in the back of the Science of Mind that you mailed off for. So there were 48 of them. So these are essays. So these were probably essays written directly to questions, which is why it sounds like he is one answering a question and talking directly to you. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I hope you are too. All right. So a science of religion and a religion of science. There are three general classifications of knowledge, namely science, philosophy, and religion. By science, we mean the organized knowledge of natural law and its application to life. By philosophy, we mean the opinions one holds about the world, life, and reality. Although we generally speak of philosophy in relation to those statements which have been put down in writing by men whose opinion we respect, by people whose opinions we respect. There were women philosophers. As a matter of fact, philosophy is anybody's opinion about anything. By religion, we mean any person's belief about their relationship with the invisible universe. Or we might say religion is a person's idea of God or gods, of the ultimate reality. It follows then that there are many philosophies and many religions, since in both instances they constitute opinions. But not so with science, for science is a knowledge of laws of nature. We also speak of pure science and applied science. Pure science is a knowledge of principles, while applied science is the technique for using universal principles. A scientist, in whatever field of investigation they may be engaged, is one who uses universal principles. Once a principle is discovered and the laws governing it are ascertained, they maintain absolute faith in that principle. Science is not an investigation into the why, but into the how. The why of anything is, that is, the reason for its being. Science makes no attempt to answer. I might disagree with that. I know a bunch of scientists, so yeah. Maybe we should contrast the soft science, what they call the hard sciences and the soft sciences, because the soft sciences are social sciences like anthropology, sociology, psychology, and they are very interested in the why. Okay, sorry. which is nothing to do with this. Or maybe it does. I'm not sure. Hang on, let's keep reading. Okay, let's see. So let me go back and start that paragraph over. Science is not an investigation into the why, but into the how. The why of anything, that is, the reason for its being, science makes no attempt to answer. If it should shift its field from the knowledge of principles and facts into the field of inquiry as to why these principles exist, then science becomes a philosophy. Okay. But still, I do slightly disagree with him simply on the social sciences. Today, many people of science are beginning to speculate on scientific principles. And as they do this, their speculations will fall into two generalized classifications. Philosophically speaking, oh no, that's a period. Two classifications, philosophically speaking. These speculations usually lead them to either a philosophic basis of materialism or to a philosophic basis of idealism. Both the idealist and the materialist believe that the universe is a thing of intelligence. The only difference is that the materialist refuses to admit that the intelligence operating through the laws of nature is backed by or permeated by any form of consciousness. That is, the intelligence is merely a blind but intelligent force, a conglomeration of immutable laws of cause and effect with no element of consciousness, no sentiment, no feeling. They see only blind force, but they see blind force intelligently organized. The idealist feels that back of and operating in and through the laws of nature, there is a volition and consciousness. They maintain that the manifestation of the physical life upon this planet always is in accord with organized intelligence. They feel that the organized intelligence can be accounted for only on the basis that there is an engineer as well as an engine. There are then these two branches of philosophy, the idealistic and the materialistic. The idealist believes in consciousness, hence a spiritual universe, while the materialist does not. Naturally, the scientist who is philosophically a materialist believes in no God, no spiritual universe, no consciousness in the universe which responds to people. He does not believe in the immortality of the individual soul, nor can he give any real meaning to life. He may be a humanitarian and a very good person, but the ultimate philosophy is 6 feet under, and it is all over. Ernest is taking kind of a hard line here. I'm not, knowing the number of scientists that I know, I'm not sure I agree with him. But, okay, I don't have to. That's why we're open at the top. The scientist who feels that there is a consciousness in the universe finds no difficulty in believing in God or in the universe as a spiritual system, permeated with a consciousness which responds to people. Therefore, they believe in prayer, immortality, the value of faith, and feels that there is a definite meaning to life. An increasing number of scientific people are taking this position. The scientist, who is a materialist, has no religion unless it is one of humanitarianism, while the idealist can scarcely get along without some form of religious conviction. Okay. But if the idealist is a scientific person, believing as they must, that everything is governed by law, their religion cannot be superstitious. They cannot believe in a God who specializes in one person more than on another, or who esteems one person above another. Nor can they believe that the laws of nature can be broken or modified through anyone's prayer or faith. Therefore, the scientific mind, which is at the same time idealistic, believes that the universe is not only intelligent, but that it is also consciousness, and will be satisfied with no religious concepts which contradict reason, common sense, and a cosmos of law and order. And there's a footnote on this one. Let's see. Religion and natural science are fighting a joint battle in an incessant, never-relaxing crusade against skepticism and against dogmatism, against disbelief, and against superstition. And the rallying cry in this crusade has always been and will always be on to God. Max Planck. Interesting. Quote from Max Planck. All right. When the early discoveries of science refuted ancient superstitions and proved that this world was not the center of the universe, that it was round and not flat, the faith which many people had begun to wane. The ancient, oh God, I don't know how to say this word, shibboleths, dogmas, and superstitions could no longer be held valid for intelligent people, and formalized religion began to lose its hold on the inquiring scientific mind. Materialism was in the ascendancy. However, today we find an increasing number of scientific people emerging from that age of materialism. This is due to the fact that modern science has not theoretically been able to resolve the material universe into purely mechanical energy, but has discovered that the smallest particle, which it supposes to exist, exercise a sort of volition, which of course leaves room for freedom. Heisenberg's theory of indeterminacy. Don't ask me what it is. I don't know, but that's what the note is about. That, however, does beg the question of, they've got this test that they do with electrons, and electrons don't always behave the way that they expect them to. And that's kind of what he's talking about here. It's like we're getting down into now they're smaller particles, quarks and photons, but the electrons seem to make choices. And it's like, how can something that small have a consciousness and make a choice? And yet it does. All right, moving on. Once you establish freedom and volition as an operating factor in connection with the energy which becomes form, Einstein's theory of the equivalence of energy and mass, note there, then you have established a universe of consciousness. And once you establish a universe of consciousness, you establish the possibility of communion and arrive at a logical basis for faith, prayer, and the religious and the mystical life. Mouthful. There has been a tremendous growth of knowledge which has taken place in the world in the last few hundred years. However, the vast majority of people have given but little thought to the implications involved. To most people, religion has been either superstitiously entertained, and no doubt with great benefit to those who believed in it, or else it was rejected. Basically, he's trying to say that religion has always had a benefit, even when it was wrong. Although I'm not sure he would argue that it was wrong. It just didn't have the whole picture. So he's not throwing out the baby with the bathwater. He is saying religion has always had a benefit, but that we can, I guess he's arguing that we can improve the benefit of it by getting rid of the dogma and the superstition. Yeah, okay. Today, however, there is a certain and rather swift return to spiritual convictions. Yep. Oh, okay. These new vital and dynamic spiritual concepts have placed firm foundations beneath people's innate religious tendencies. Firm foundations which scientific people need not reject and which the unscientific person may accept without superstition. Oh, there's another long quote from Sir Arthur Eddington down here about that. The idea that God is not a being of caprice and whim, but as has been the case in all the main body of thinking of the ancient world, but instead a God who rules through law. So on and so on. I'm not going to read the rest of the quote. It's at the bottom of the page if you want to read it. Okay. This is what is meant when we speak of a scientific religion. We do not mean a religion that is reduced to coldness without sentiment or feeling, but rather law and order are added to the sentiment and feeling. We have a perfect right to speak of a scientific religion or a religion of science, but upon what could such a scientific religion be based? It could only be based upon the principle of mind, of intelligence and consciousness, which many outstanding scientists today assert is the ultimate and fundamental reality. I'd like to meet the scientist that he was talking to. Science, in affirming consciousness in the universe, that is a spiritual presence and an intelligence, also affirms that the individual's consciousness is of a similar nature. I'm sorry. The first quote was from Robert A. Milken. The second quote is Erwin Schrödinger. The third quote is Arthur Eddington. Oof. All right. Okay. Similar nature. Therefore, a scientific religion does not exclude what we call a prayer or communion, even though it lays a greater stress on communion than on petition. For instance, a scientific religion does not believe that a person's petition to God can change the natural order of the universe or reverse the law of nature. Okay, so quote 5, that consciousness is a singular of which the plural is unknown, that there is only one thing, and that which seems to be a plurality is merely a series of different aspects of this one thing. That's Erwin Schrödinger. Okay. However, prayer now becomes the communion of the lesser with the greater, which makes it possible for people not to reverse natural law, but to reverse their position in it in such a way that bondage becomes freedom. And here's the quote from Sir Arthur Eddington. Prayer and procreation may still influence the course of physical phenomena when directed to these centers. Okay. Maybe these are the scientists that he's thinking of. We might speak of a pure religious science as we would speak of a pure natural science, which means the study of natural causes. We might speak of pure religious science as the branch of science which studies the natural principles, the nature of mind and consciousness. Then we could think of applied religious science as the application of this principle to human needs for practical purposes. And this is where one encounters the study of the nature of prayer, faith, and of mental actions and reactions. This is a heavy-duty article today. In the use of faith, prayer, communion, or spiritual treatment, one would be applying the principles of mind, spirit, intelligence, consciousness, and law and order to the persistent problems of every day. They would then be more than a theoretical religionist. They would have an applied and a practical religion. This is exactly what we mean when we speak of a science of religion and a religion of science. For we are using this term in its broadest sense. We are using the term religion from the standpoint of the universal religion, including all religious beliefs: Christian, Buddhism, Mohammedan, Islam. He uses Mohammedan, but it's Islam. Okay. Or any other faith, because apparently I can't say Mohammedan. And we are thinking of prayer, communion, and the laws of consciousness as applied to any and all people. In short, we are universalizing the principle which by nature is universal. Thus, each religion approaches the same God and must basically believe in the same God. But a scientific religion cannot believe in any concept of God which denies a universe of law and order, or which attempts to exclude anyone from its benefits. Oh, good God. That's a mouthful. Still a worthy, I don't think I've read this article before because there are no notes in it. It would be unscientific as well as irrational to believe that God or the supreme intelligence holds one person in higher esteem than another. For as the Bible so truly and boldly declares, and let them that is athirst come, and whosoever will, let them take the water of life freely. One comes to agree with Robert Browning that all's love, yet all's love. Law. All's love, yet all is law. And that there is an impersonal law as well as a personal relationship to the spirit. This law exists for all, like the laws of mathematics or any other natural law. But the personal relationship is personified through each at the level of their consciousness, at the level of their comprehension of what God means to them. Intelligence and reason must be the rules of thought, and God must be accessible to all on equal terms. The scientific religionists could not believe in miracles, but they could not deny the power of spiritual thought. Rather, they would think that the so-called miracles performed as a result of spiritual faith have been in accord with natural laws and cosmic order, and that they could be reproduced at will. That which the illumined have experienced and that which people of great spiritual power have proved, the scientific religionist feels should be deliberately used in everyday life. Okay. To the individual believing that there is a principle, intelligence, or conscious governing of all things, there comes a feeling that they understand the laws, or at least some of the laws, as of this principle. Hence, they feel that it is intensely sane, as well as humanly practical to apply faith, consciousness, and spiritual conviction to the solution of human problems. This is what is meant by spiritual mind treatment. Spiritual mind treatment is based on the belief or the theory that we now feel has a sound basis, that there is a principle of intelligence in the universe, which is not only creative, giving rise to objective form, but it is immediately responsive to our consciousness, and being universal, it is omnipresent, and being omnipresent, it is not only where we are, but it is what we are. And that is a quote from Sir James Jean. We discover that the universe shows evidence of a designing or controlling power that has something in common with our individual minds. Hence, the scientific religionist feels that they understand what Jesus meant when he said, "The words I speak unto you, I speak not of myself, but the Father that dwelleth in me. He doth the works." But, as all pure science, before it can be of any use to humanity, must pass into applied science. So pure religious concepts, before they can be a practical application, must pass into applied religion. And it is the application of religion to the solution of our problems which we may speak of as demonstrating the principle. What, then, are the pure and applied aspects of this principle? The basis or pure concept is that there is an absolute intelligence in the universe, one undivided, birthless and deathless, changeless reality. Since no one made God, and since God did not make itself, that which was, is, and is to be, will remain. According to our first axiom, that God is all there is the implication that there is nothing else besides God. Hence, the entire manifestation of life is an evolution or unfoldment of form from that which is formless and eternal. This intelligent cause, this undifferentiated and undistributed God principle, one and complete within itself, is the source from which all action proceeds and in which all creation takes place. Whoa, he's getting hard level science here. At this point, one may logically hold the belief, the opinion, or the certainty that God, as people, in people, is people. That when people make a proclamation, it is still God proclaiming, but at the level of people's consciousness. Therefore, the cosmos is reflected in, or manifested by, or through the individual. One cannot say, why is humanity, any more than one can say, why is God? Intelligence exists, and people interpret it. Therefore, people are its mouthpiece. People are a personification of the infinite, governed by those same laws. But people are more than law. They are consciousness. The application of the principles of such a science of religion into our everyday problems is just as necessary as that there must be a practical application of the theories of any science for them to be of value. It is not enough merely to abstract our thought and announce an infinite, for the infinite can never at any time mean more to us than the use we make of it. Oh, right there. For the infinite can never at any time mean more to us than the use we make of it. We're running out. We're almost done. Just as electricity can never mean more to us than the use we make of it. This is true of any and all principles of nature. If there is an infinite creative intelligence which makes things out of itself by itself, becoming the thing that it makes, and if a person exists and is conscious, then the creative genius of this universal mind is also the creative genius of its individualization, which we call humanity. From the above stated propositions, intelligence cannot escape, correct induction and deduction cannot escape. Thus, most of the great intellectual geniuses who have ever lived have proclaimed these truths, each in their own tongue, in their own way, in their own day, for their own age. Many believe that Jesus proclaimed them for all ages, since he was so universal in his concepts. Such a way of thinking does not belong to any sect, to any group, to any class, and most certainly not to any person. There is no claim of special revelation. Rather, for this particular system of thought, there have been gathered together facts from all ages and all people, from all philosophies and religions, and using practical methods, which any other scientific research would use, it has been able to, and does, present a science of mind with a message of freedom. Oh my God, that was a little longer than I was thinking, because I wasn't expecting the quotes. Oh God, and tomorrow you get the declaration of, well, tomorrow is really long. We may break tomorrow's up. Or I may just do the whole thing because tomorrow's Saturday. So, all right, we'll see. It may be too long for one session. All right, deep breath. Woohoo! That was a lot. And if you want to know kind of some of the things that he pulled from, go read The Voice Celestial or go watch The Voice Celestial. It is complete on the Running Rev Ryan YouTube channel. It is almost complete on the Creative Life channel, YouTube. I will see about getting some more work done on that, but I got a busy weekend, so we'll see. All right, beloveds. I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a take care of yourself day, a let's wrap this week up day, a drink plenty of water day, a cuddle your fur babies day, a know it's going to be okay day, a make sure you take some time for yourself day, a good day, and if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough. just as you are. You're a beloved expression of the divine, a brilliant light, divine spark, spirit in motion, God in action, a beautiful masterpiece, a work in progress. Wait, at the same time, at your own pace. And as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are a godling. All right, beloveds, get to know the truth of your own being. Explore who you are. Get to know who the divine knows you to be, because the divine knows you to be good. And from there, anything is possible. All right, beloveds. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved. I will see you next time.